Hey, we're back on another hangout here with Mike. Mike, I have to say that that post's doing very well. The one with your 2020 vision and do you have a heart? That's what I called it, more or less what you called it, really. But actually, I saw that there was more views on there. YouTube are taking them off, but as they do to my channel, 100 just went as I clicked the page. 100 went on your
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah.
That's awesome, and I think the way that you put that music on there, and you did the camera work or graphics to that was awesome.
Actually, do you know what that was? That was just
Really,
me recording it and it just kept sticking.
yeah, it was cool. I don't know, I didn't know how you did it, but it was awesome. I like that.
Mm.
Thanks for doing that too. I wanted to thank you for that.
Well, no,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you. And anyway, now people are getting to hear you a bit more now, aren't they, on a hangout?
Yes, awesome.
Mm.
I've never done one of these. It's my first hangout, so
Hey.
just downloaded the app and pretty cool, pretty exciting,
Yeah,
something new.
you had you had the picture on and everything, but yeah, I had to tell you to turn it off because the quality on this thing isn't very good. But yeah, he was there. Full. I had a nice picture of Mike sitting there, but I told him I had to take the camera off.
And then
Anyway,
it's Rough Logic on YouTube, and then I do actually most of my stuff on Facebook, and I do lives when I can. The trouble with Facebook is keeping a profile up long enough before they take it down, disable it or whatever.
yeah, they keep doing things, don't they, to our posts, especially those that are trying to put the truth out there.
It seems like there's something no matter what with the Google monopoly, the YouTube, Facebook, and just all of it, keeping up with the algorithms and the censoring as they change them on us. Once we get used to it and find a way around something, and then they go ahead and change it up again.
I think you're very accurate with that because I think that's what the last bits on YouTube are about, to be honest, was putting a new system in. Not the
Yeah,
one that you think. You think you're getting this it's actually changing everything. That's what I
you're
think.
right.
Well, not maybe changing everything, but doing things. Yeah, that's what I think.
So now I hear the latest one that I found out about was that they are taking the videos off of people's YouTube channels. Like a lot of the independent people who are just starting new channels, and then the video bar is just completely missing, and then they only show like a fraction of their videos. So
Yeah, I did by myself. The astronauts when they weren't upside down. That one, they're not upside down. They took the end of that off. They take the end of a lot of my videos off. The last sort of 10. Well, that was half a minute. I don't know why, because he was just going. It's amazing, isn't it? Amazing, isn't it? Sort of whatever the words he was using, and he was
yeah,
repeating them like, "Man, we made this," and they took that off.
go figure. Yep.
Uh, they
So
do
I
these
think
things.
we're seeing that more and more, and then at the same time we're seeing a lot of people wake up and get a lot of good content out there as well. It's just a so
So, how long
it's
have you been into this then? This kind of talking and stuff like that?
well, let's see. I started off studying the Bible at a young age, younger than I just give you my basic story here, a little backstory for you. Um I got into the Bible at a young age. Most people don't do that until later on in life. And it was for me, it was something to do and study, and I took it seriously. Almost like, hey, this is kind of the word of God, at least a remnant of that. And I would study for a couple hours a day sometimes. So I did that. I did this for about 10, 15 years, and it was that's what got me really into the whole truth movement in general. Struggling with that, and getting a lot of gems out of it, but at the same time struggling with the authenticity of the Bible as a historical book, or whether or not Jesus, aka Yeshua, was an actual historical figure and these things. And then just the constant uh, search for knowledge brought me to where I am today on the spiritual journey. And everything from, I think a lot of us remember the Zeitgeist movie after 9/11. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't know if you remember that, Karen.
Yeah.
That was a shocker for a lot of people. That just, that really, after seeing that, you either just kind of covered your eyes and ears and just put that movie out of your head, or that it kind of changed your life because it really instills fear in you. That movie, kind of in a way, it can, because it's so shocking the way it appears to just totally what would be the word, discredit religion, the way that it basically discredits the whole Jesus myth, saying that this has been talked about in Egypt for thousands of years before with Horus and Isis and everything. So basically,
We were talking about that because remember, I was having a hangout and I got these people together, and we've just been talking about that on another hangout. So yeah, carry on.
yeah, and uh, uh, it gives you information on 9/11. That, hey, this isn't lining up with the official narrative at all. So then, just the movie just is like a shocker. So that kind of catapulted me onto down more rabbit holes after that, struggling even more with the Bible, not knowing where to go. But up until that point, I got to the point where I became it was almost like a Hebrew Israelite Jew type uh, walk with it. I went that far where I was trying to study to get in tune with the Torah, the feast days, and keeping the law. And I got to the point to where the human mind is naturally going to end up asking questions. And so I started to say, well, why am I saying in Jesus' name after I eat if I'm supposed to be praying to one God? A person eventually has to start becoming honest with themselves with any of these religions, no matter what they are. So I started to ask myself these questions, and then it became, oh, we'll just become a straight Jew now. So like I say, you can only go so far. So now I'm just a Jew. Jesus wasn't.
That was on one of your videos, wasn't it? You can only go so far.
Yeah, yeah. So now I'm just a Jew. Now, like, how much further can you go? Like a Karaite Jew. So all the rabbis were lying, everybody's lying, but I'm still gonna hold on to the Torah. And then it just became, well, I gotta let this go, this last little piece here, because it's wild that we would just take a religion in the form that it's handed down to us and then say, oh no, we're gonna tell these people what it really means. When the whole purpose of it being distributed to begin with, and to popularize any of these avatar figures, whether it be the Buddha or Yeshua or any of them, was for the mind control in the first place. So just the whole structure, the whole idea of religion is that it's philosophy for the masses. It's philosophy in a form that's suitable to the way that they want the masses to think, and to make them more easily controlled, whatnot. So it's
Yeah,
just,
you've done that all on your own.
yeah. So it's been the struggle of it's just been the spiritual journey, which can be a struggle at times, and it really has been. So I got to the point now where it's healing the past guilt and blame for just the falling for some of these things is a big part of it. And and blame. And if you're not blaming, if I'm not blaming myself, it's blaming somebody else for the road that I've gone down and believing what I believed for so long. And then at the same time, now I'm at the point where I see the beauty in it all. So I think that we dwell on all the negativity, and we don't really see the beauty in all the lessons that we learn
And
in
that's
some.
what you've been doing.
Yes, so I see the brighter side of things now, with instead of all the doom and gloom. It's the end of the world coming soon, World War III.
think it's stages you go through as you go through all this stuff.
Because
Because
listen,
it
I
is a
know.
bit,
Yes, exactly. Different stages to the journey. Because listen, I know 5G is terrible, and I understand the evils of the world, and fluorides and vaccines, and all these different threats that we're up against. But I also know that uh, unless we have a way to immediately remove it now, we also have to get the best out of life and enjoy life. And because if we dwell on all the
are
things that,
you vaccinated? Just
yes,
asking.
yes, I am, yes, yes, and then
Yeah.
I've got two boys, unfortunately,
Oh,
that are not, so you learn, and then you can at least, do the best you can with the knowledge you have from that point on. So luckily for them, they're not vaccinated, so then that's a good thing. But, it's just all in the way we look at this, in life. So, yeah, the American experiment is what I've been talking about lately here. This whole
yeah. You said that
carnival.
you've moved, haven't you, in the last year? Because your videos start off there and then you end up in Oregon.
Grew up in Chicago, born and raised there, and was there the majority of my life. And I'm back out this way in Oregon, where I was out here briefly over a decade ago to do some work. There was construction out this way, and now I'm back just by chance. The same general area. It's west of Portland. Really nice
Is
area
that where
there.
your kids are, or this is just work?
They're still back home with their mother right now. Um, so, but yep, yep, yep. At least
Ah,
get to
well,
see them, not at least. So
I
that's
mean,
good.
the people listening into this, oh, it's him from the video. Yeah, it's doing quite well, that video, really. Even if YouTube took 100 of them off as you click the page. So
Oh,
that's another 100 on there. So that's 400 and something, which is quite good. I mean, like when I've been putting stuff out, I've been putting it out about things, about cases, about
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
This was about you, just you. And that video is doing really good. So, yeah, loads of people are listening in on it.
Well, your amazing editing sure helped. That's for sure.
Yeah, you like the music. I thought that music went quite well on that one.
Uh, just little stuff like that makes a difference sometimes.
Yeah, I won't be putting it on the hangouts. I don't. So obviously, it's a hangout. It's different because we're talking and go backwards and forwards. Sometimes I do, but I wait for this one and I'll premiere it. So you'll probably hopefully be in the chat room.
Yeah, yep.
Uh,
So
so yeah, a lot of the words, a lot of what you're talking about resonates with me. And I like the way you put things. It's just that person putting it in a different way. It makes you think.
right. Or sometimes it's something that we always knew, and then some of these teachers have a knack for um, really bringing out, letting people see something that they had inside of themselves, or um, I don't know, they just have really a knack for teaching, but at the same time, but also allowing them to see something, that was always there. So
Yeah, but you're seeing more. You understand more of it anyway, don't you? If you know what I mean. I'm not saying you understand everything, but you understand by, you might have to read that, but don't you?
yeah, I think we all know, at the different levels, like you said, and then it's just what we do with that info.
And you can't help but going on your microphone and explaining it
Yeah,
to
it's
everyone.
you want to tell people about that, you know, even if it's just a few memes on Facebook. You want to it starts to become a big thing because it's like important to you in a sense. So you want to wake people up, but then you get to a point to where I think you stop trying to wake people up as much as you were, and getting them to see things your way and what you were shown, and constantly having that just take over your entire life of getting, I want my
Well, we all do our bit, don't we? Like you're
Oh
really
yeah,
good at
yeah, yeah.
talking. I put videos out, have hangouts, and I try and get people together and stuff like that. We're all part of a puzzle, aren't we? Really, all of
Absolutely.
our different bits.
Absolutely. And now it's just being consciously aware of what I'm doing. Like I want to go out there and say things. I want to go out there and speak, it's and
You are, you are. What's your message then? Click, click. Come on then. What's your message?
the message
Yeah, that message.
right now,
Yeah, got a message.
the message. The message is to know thyself and that it's not as mysterious as they would lead you to believe. So the end of the line is to the beginning and the end is to know yourself and um and happiness in the sense of peace of mind, true happiness, not the temporary happiness
I
where
wish that you had made it to the other hangout because you'd have been so pleased because obviously they were talking about all this kind of stuff on there as well. I'll have to send
awesome.
you the
So
link
have you
to that one.
so so Karen, have you noticed a lot of people having the same type of ideas lately? And it's almost like a collective consciousness thing.
Yeah,
I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to
yeah.
see because I'll have an idea. And do you know Matt from Quantum of Conscious or Quantum of Consciousness on YouTube?
What's your surname?
Matt McKinley. He's a interesting character that does just
Um,
his in his little room there, just basic lives where he speaks about different issues. He's got a book that he's been coming out with, Quantum of Consciousness, I believe, as well. Anyway,
does he have a girlfriend that roams around in the background?
no, just a cat that runs around, just a
Oh,
ball.
okay, different person then.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Matt.
I don't know who that is. Well, maybe, yeah, maybe get him on a hangout then.
Maybe
Get him
I think
talking.
because he's a real interesting character, and he brings things on, gives you a different perspective on things. And his thing is all about looking around two corners at least, and then sometimes the answer is not even there, and you got to look around the third and fourth corner. So he's a writer, and he has like 50,000 subscribers, and just a
Oh,
different.
wow.
What's interesting is like he comes off as a regular guy type thing almost. And yeah, but what I was gonna say is I'll have an idea, and then he'll have like a video 2 days later on this same idea. Just for example, I'm just using him as an example. Because there's only a handful of YouTubers that I watch, and I've been checking out your channels, and there's a lot of interesting stuff on there, getting people a chance to interact and speak their mind, and then
Yeah.
that leads you to look at another channel, and then and everybody kind of works together. So it's
Yeah. We've
it's
got
all
another channel as well. I don't know if you've seen that. It's Sun and Moon Family United.
absolutely. I'm subscribed already. That's
Hey, oh, that's good. Oh yeah, I think I've seen your message on there now.
how I found out
Um,
about it. Yeah. Hmm. Yep.
yeah, Sun and Moon Family United is for the people, and then obviously this one's more of me.
Cool. Good
Except
stuff.
obviously I'm having a hangout with you and you're talking.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
it's pretty cool.
yeah, I think you'll like the people on the other channel as well. Not saying anything bad about the channel we're on, just different types of people
Right.
are on that channel.
From all different walks of life, and that's
Yeah.
what other thing that I'm starting to see is that it's really all about the message. It's not the messenger. Sometimes we get caught up in the messenger, or just because somebody doesn't agree with everything that we do. It's all about the message and just focusing on the truth.
That's very true. That's why you like doing your little podcast, isn't it? Because you're trying to get the message out all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and I'd like to get the YouTube channel going, but I think they did that censor thing with the one, and then the other one I
You
can't
can
get
still
into.
do it.
So
It doesn't change because you have your camera on and you walk around, so it won't be any different to you. I had groups. It doesn't work for things like that. That's why we have to do it this way. So it looks the same.
You know, I'm kind of a tech dummy with everything. You know, the only thing I'm familiar with is Facebook to an extent. And like I said, this is my first time doing this, even the Hangout and and that. So, but yeah,
Yeah, but you on this hangout, it's just like having a phone conversation, really, isn't it?
yeah, oh yeah, it's about pretty much the
Yeah,
same
I mean,
thing.
for people listening in, it'll feel like we're on a phone, like we're just talking on phones to each other. So really, it's just a recorded phone conversation, isn't it? Really.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not that. It's not. Yeah. Sorry, my brain's a little bit fried. I said on this other hang, I'm not very well. That's
It's
why I missed
it's the
you. I went to
5G.
sleep. I went
It's
to
the
sleep. Yes, the 5G. I went to sleep for an hour, and then it was like I closed my eyes. When I opened it, I was fiddling on my phone. I thought, oh God, the time. Oh my God, look at the time. So I am very grateful that you've come on this hangout.
as am I. Yeah, at least we got it done. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I'm sorry, I'm just looking. I'm just going around looking up. It's much later here. Oh, the door's done. Just checking my front door. um, yeah, it's much later here, and oh, it's horrible. I bet it's still light with you, isn't it? You're 8 hours behind me. So
Oh
weird
yeah.
that is.
Oh yeah. And the West Coast is darker, you know, later and earlier. So the sun doesn't come up here till almost 8 a.m. You know,
All right, yeah, yeah,
way
because
the
you've
time
moved.
zones work is, you know, you never know because they could change. You could walk 10 feet away and you're into another time zone. You're an hour ahead or behind whichever direction you're walking. So yeah, it's not, you know, think
Yeah,
about
you
it
get
that way.
used to where you're living, don't you? And like for me, I'm sitting in this room here. I'm just going into it's all about where everything is in the sky, but I wouldn't know anywhere else. But I know here.
Yeah, you get comfortable, familiar with the surroundings, and whatever level of 5G there's happening in your brain. No, so you know, some people, you know, originally, you know, they were joking about wearing the tin foil with that and everything, and you know, and I remember that, and I remember thinking to myself, well, 5G goes through tin foil. You know, you'd have to have like a lead helmet or something. You'd have to have it made out of lead, or paint your walls with lead paint. You know,
I'm
it's not.
pretty sure that you would have seen it, but some of those videos, I think, yeah, they were just showing like their instruments, and they weren't even anywhere near it, and they were going off the readings, and you're like, oh my God.
Oh yes, oh yes, yeah. There's one guy like Matt Lynch or some who does all the chemtrail stuff. He's really good.
Uh,
He's got a YouTube and a Facebook, I think. Matt Langstrom or I don't know, but anyways, he had one where they were doing the meter readings and they're just going off the hook. The smart meter thing and then the 5G and then the phones and just showing the radiation readings on the thing. Just
I
unbelievable.
know, and do you know something? What's really crazy is it's not like you can can you find out anywhere where they've tested it? I bet you can't.
Yeah, the specific place they're testing them. Or
Yeah, and what all the the data is out of it, or I bet you that I bet you can't find that on the. You can just all you can do is find someone else has built another tower. Oh, another tower. That's all we're finding, isn't it? Is
yeah,
the towers are up, but there's no here's all the
yeah,
information about it. Like no, because they haven't tested, so it's awful, isn't it? Really.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say is that you know unfortunately most people are just have to go along with it. You know they feel they're forced to go along with it and that's it. So whatever this stuff is doing to people, it's doing to us all. You know, as long as we're exposed to it. And
Yeah, except those that are out in the country or far enough away from those horrible towers.
then you look up like T-Mobile, and then it shows you that it's covering almost the whole United States. So how are they doing that? How are they covering the rural areas, like you're saying? Because they're supposed to have them. You're supposed to have them. You got to have so many so close together. That's the thing with 5G. They got to be closer to.
Talking on this hangout, I mean, I can see it on my screen, it's on my phone. We're locked into this thing, and there's no wires between us. They say there's a wire under the sea, but it would have taken years to put that wire in under the sea. But whatever it is, they're already using it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
The undersea cables. Yeah,
can you imagine
the
that there's
under.
supposed to be a cable between England and America, or from over here to over there, and it's like about 4,000 miles to New York. It would have taken forever. And then where does it come in on the UK? I don't
Yeah,
know if that's true or not, that one. Although people, oh yeah, there's definitely a wire underneath the sea, but I'm not sure about that. But again, whatever it is pretty damn good, isn't it? Because you imagine you're thousands of miles away because you're the other side of America. So
you
you're
almost.
even, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's you almost feel like your head's getting microwaved sometimes.
It's like you're in the next room or something. Oh no, you're in the room with me.
You don't know if you're imagining it or not.
Mm.
That's stuff. So that's where it really becomes important to be centered and yeah, we do want to protect ourselves as much as we can. Shield ourselves and stay healthy, but at the same time, we can't go crazy and let the fear set in with any of this stuff. It is a shame.
I think that's it. That's the biggest thing that around us we picked up is that they always want you in fear and
Yep,
anxiety.
yep. That's the controllable. Think about it, fight or flight. You know, that's a hell of two choices to have is to fight or flight. It's all fear. It's all fear based, and I don't want to fight. I don't want to run, and I don't want to fight. You know what I mean? I'm past that now at this point. I don't feel like, I need to react to everything because I was supposed to, um, they taught me I was supposed to react a certain way. I'm not saying to be totally unemotional, like freaking drill sergeant or something, but it's, you got to find balance in life. That's what it's all about. It
Yeah,
really fake it till you make it eventually, but, just don't
fake it
bullshit
till you
yourself.
make it.
You gotta fake it till you make it a little, fake it till you make it, but at least know that you're acting to the point, start to become conscious of yourself. Hypocrite's okay, to a point. We got to be a hypocrite before we change, right? We have to have the idea before we physically change and realize that into our life. We have to have the idea first.
Yeah, because there's three yous. You know that there's who you think you are, who you want to be, and who other people see you as.
Exactly, and constantly basing ourselves off of the outside world and how other people see us, and, it just takes over that mindset strong to fulfill that role of
The video that I put out, obviously one with the music, is well since you. It's not the first time I've heard it, but the duality of everything.
yeah. I first heard about this, I don't know, 7 years ago. Just the idea of the duality of man in terms of of course I'm saying man, I'm saying men and women, but in terms of the way the mind works and the way that it almost the way that it speaks to itself. And sometimes, if you're not careful, that little voice that we sometimes we think of as talking to ourselves is really not us. I mean, we could think of that as being the AI. That's the artificial intelligence. That's the that's the little
Just
the
as long as it's not in you doing it, like from a little chip or something.
right. It's the idea. It's the you got Jesus on God on one side and the devil on the other shoulder talking to you. This is okay. This isn't.
So you're saying
Um,
it's the same thing, it's just done differently.
oh, sure. And then imagine if you were already handicapped due to mind control or whatever, or physical brain damage because of vaccine or whatever the case may be. And then now with this nanotech threat that's coming, and then we start to deal with a whole nother threat on top of a natural simulation. Then we start to deal with the nanotechnology on top of the natural simulation already. It's because it's already
Oh,
completely a
sounds
natural simulation.
horrible. Sounds horrible, but carry on.
It's already completely a natural simulation as far as the money's monopoly money. The you get every from the from your birth certificate right from the start. It's a fictitious
Yeah,
piece of
you obviously know that birth
you
certificates
don't,
they make, yeah, they make one and there's money in it and you can't touch it. And so we
so
don't
the strong
really, yeah, we don't need to pay any taxes, do we? Because they've already got masses of money from just us being born.
exactly. And this aspect of things um just goes branches out into everything. Having a fictitious version, and then they want you to psychologically and emotionally attach to that entity, that false self, and it becomes your whole life acting.
I don't think a lot of people realize that they think that they've got to this decision themselves, but actually they were just programmed to get there.
um oh, absolutely, there's so much truth to that, Karen. So much truth to that, because in these initiations, they're designed to lead you up into the next thing. It's the underlay for the overplay. What do they call it? Yeah, the underlay for the overplay. So it's leading you into this point where, okay, Christianity is over with, guys, or whatever it might be. Here's this next phase, because it was inevitable for this us to come to this point in society where we are.
It's strange. Well, it's not strange, but it's quite amazing listening to you say that you brought up on all the Bible and everything, but now you, whatever you want to be, you've gone past all that. Like, and that's one of your videos as well, isn't it? Like, just because there's duality and there's a left and a right or a red pill and a blue pill, then you think, oh, well, it's red or blue, but there are other colors, there's other things going on.
Right. Absolutely. There's more colors to the spectrum, and yeah, and it's not just black and white, everything white and black your whole life. As a child, um the, the question that a lot of children remember is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Whether the teachers were asking that or our parents would ask us that, and they just wait for us to whatever we would respond, just to get they would get a kick out of that. Oh, listen to what they said. They wanted to be a fireman, they want to be a policeman, doctor. And who the fuck knows what they want to be? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. But who knows what they want to be? Who really knows? And still, I still don't know.
Yeah,
You
you
know what
sound
I?
such a gentle person, you do. And then that one video, I had to beep out all the swear words.
Yeah, I've been trying to be good with that. So I really don't know what I want to be still to this day. And
Yeah, sometimes having all this knowledge and knowing more doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. Everything, it just makes everything worse in a way. It makes it better and worse. There's duality in the duality.
duality just that never ends. You know, because then now, okay, now you're in some higher consciousness, or so you think, so we thought, till we get knocked off of our high horse again. No, but our head gets blown up to an extent, and or we may feel separate from the world now, or whatever, or the other way, you attach to that hive mind. You just can't let go. You don't want to let go. So it really is a crossroad in time. It really is. It really truly is. I was just thinking about that again today.
Is it
How
because of the, is it actually because of the year?
sure.
2020. It's because of this year.
Absolutely. The year could play into that. I mean, natural cycle, a contrived plan, and or a combination of the two, all leading us up to this point of um, to intentionally. So some of the things I would say to look for is anti-government agendas being pushed everywhere around the world, and these are things we all know. But now, when you see all of this anarchist stuff coming out there, and anti-government and don't vote anymore and all that being pushed, um, some of that is being left out there intentionally. They want people to be anti-government at this point. It wants to be people to catch on. Like if you're from here, it's Trump. So they want you to buy into this circus act, or just totally be sickened by it. One of the two, because it's a carnival ride. You know, this is a crazy carnival ride at this point in time. You know, where you cannot help but notice this stuff. So we're being pushed into this direction of almost like complete the point of no return. Like think about the transgender movement. So many people are disgusted with that, overly,
Mm.
overly disgusted with it. You know, like overly mesmerized just with that. You know, whether they have like they could be closet homosexuals or whatever, but there's so much attention on it. But this is how they want you to be to the point of disgust, where you're between a rock and a hard place. Which way do I go now? Are you, you know? And then they go ahead and they give you the solution at that point. It's all a controlled plan to get to this point. They're merging the towers. Maybe there's truth to that.
Is that them or is that something else going on there? Just asking.
It's a combination of both. I would say that there's people behind the scenes, behind of the behind. You know, like behind Rothschild, obviously. Rothschild, for example, would be just a front man, a puppet in the game, and that there would be others, but you know, another tier behind that, the scenes of that. But as far as the way that this system works and the way that it's running, it's almost automatic. It's automation. And people are just running a script at this point. They're playing their role. So they don't really necessarily have to know uh, all the ins and outs and be members of secret societies and this and that, because this thing is so advanced that it's like a self-aware system at this point, to where if you're
Did you see that they want to make a brain and then connect everybody to the brain, the workers? I just think that's just we need to get away from this as soon as possible.
they're not doing, is this something separate from Neuralink with Elon
Well,
Musk?
it's through NASA.
I need to go back and check out that video. That was very interesting. I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, I was a bit. Oh, excuse me. I was a bit shocked myself when I saw that because I obviously on a full screen I can it's bigger for me than it is maybe for someone watching the video, but I was like, wow, let's go and let's look at cognitive engineering. Let's just see what that is.
I mean, that's the name of the game. Perfect example of what you're saying. I mean, they're leading us into all these things. And then cognitive engineering, like this has been going on for millennia. For as long as any of us know, they've been controlling the masses of civilization this way by keeping them in the dark. And but yeah, that's the microchip and all this talk is not by accident. We know that. So we need to realize that, you know, and because if, you know, I mean, we can only, I don't know. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? It's
Yeah,
not everything is a psyop, in other words, but we need to recognize that we're being directed into these areas uh, for a reason. It's a controlled
yeah.
awakening in that sense, to where even a lot of the alternative media is, because of the system being self-aware almost and running itself out. Like these people are just like running the script without even knowing it. And we think
It's
of it.
just little you, and then you suddenly start seeing the connections and realizing things. I mean, ultimately we're on our own, aren't we? But as people, we're on our own. But yeah, I like the way that you put things together as well, like how you explain it to the people.
I appreciate that. I try to do um, kind of like James says, rock first, and then and he's Enil Murga on Facebook. He
Yeah,
says, you know, he tries not to do scripted stuff. I kind of agree with him on that point. You kind of you want to be off the top of your head in case something else comes to your attention. You know, everything's not robotic, and they want us to always be in this cognitive. You know, like they got a slogan over here: "America runs on Dunkin'," because it's either Dunkin'. If you're not buying Dunkin' Donuts fluoridated coffee, you're buying Starbucks coffee with the baby parts in it. You know, it's one of the two. Starbucks.
oh, Neither
So
one
it's
sound
like
very nice to
they
sound
want
very
you,
good to me.
yeah, they want you in this problem solving mode all day, starting right in the morning, hopped up on caffeine, and then it's this problem solving mode, and then never get out of it, all day. Then go to bed and wake up, do it again as time ticks by.
They
Times are,
want us as little workers, don't they? And they're trying they're just because obviously I think you know how they turned churches and they obviously thought, well, we can use those buildings and we'll set up this thing and we'll make everyone slaves and then of course then they sold off the land. Well, they didn't. It didn't work that way, but they've sold off the land. That people don't live there anymore, and now they've gone to the television, and now people are turning that off. They're finding other ways to get to us.
absolutely.
That's what I think.
Because when we sometimes try to withdraw from society and some of the technologies and that, and then we're dealing with the seclusion of being isolated and lacking that whatever connection that particular technology gave us or that ID, because you need the ID to even to fly a plane any or to get on a plane anymore, right? That special ID pretty soon. So they start with these small things, and then everybody plays ball. Even when it's like a YouTube rule
But don't
algorithm.
forget, they've been told, oh well, this you need this. This is so their version of it isn't going to be what the awake ones feel.
Right. It's not going
They're
to be.
going to see it for the writing it says underneath it, whereas we look at it and go, woo, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it had to be that. There's a lot of good there, whatever. And they try to play it off as just being a necessary evil of the system. It's just a necessary part of the system, and that's why it, it, it divides. The truth does divide in that sense. If you're not ready for it.
On that bit, what is it you would like for the future then? Just asking you.
Well, to be honest, I would really like to see that there is things aren't as bad as that we think they are, and that there is somebody looking out for us behind the scenes that's in our corner. Whether that be however you think of God, whatever your personal idea of that might be, or whether it be something that we still got a lot of good humans left. Some people, whatever you call,
I know
mankind.
what you mean because to
Yeah.
me that's just covered those exact words for when they were showing us this cognitive engineering. Everything was a cartoon. Everything.
So that would be
So
my.
it's
Yeah,
what they're talking about sounds horrible, but would they ever be able to do it, or they tell us they're under cognitive engineering when but we're not going there really, but sort of. Oh, I don't know. That's the duality again, isn't it?
absolutely. Yes. And,
Mm. So what? So because obviously you talk quite a bit on, we've put a few of your videos out on Unscrambled. Um, what kind of future do you want then? Like what you hope for mankind.
well, like I was saying, I would that would be my hope that it's not as bad as we think it is, and the hope for mankind is that as we were just speaking about this awakening and kind of being led into these same come into these same conclusions and whatnot, we're seeing a lot of people now kind of what we'd think we would hope to be finally waking up, right? Whatever that means. So I would hope that that is actually that there's some truth to this and that we can all work together and that things just slowly start to get better. That's truly my honest hope for the future. And if um, whether there be people already planning for that or whether we do it on our own, if they have to nudge us in that direction, um, a little helping hand. But eventually, it's that we would all wake up and move on from this. You know,
Yeah,
that's
because
that
you're left with the consciousness side of things, aren't you? And if we were all together consciously,
if we would all truly love each other instead of just the superficial love and to mask all the hate that we get taught, you know. And really, it's what a lot of this hidden hate is it's the heart condition that we're dealing with. There's a brain problem, of course, because the duality, the way the system works against you if your heart's not in the right place. You know, that's what all the, I believe the talk is about you becoming like a child again in the scripture, and it's not just the New Testament. I mean that scripture is probably in numerous religions, right? To becoming like a child again, probably, you know, Indian, Egyptian, and everything. But yeah, to become a child again in your heart, you know, to the innocence of,
Well, we're only big kids anyway, aren't we?
yeah, we should be, you know, and it's almost like we were born self-aware in a way of things that before we learned all the ways that we thought we had to
Yeah,
be,
you can't beat a mind of a child, can you? They'll stand there and go, well, that's not real. And
you know,
adults,
it's
they won't do that, will they?
no, no, it's like a child is so intelligent that in a sense of, you know, they'll say something and an adult will hear that and they'll say, wow, that child's a genius, you know, did you hear what that kid said? And in reality, you know, he's just, let's say he's just of average intelligence, but he hasn't been brainwashed yet. So you're seeing the natural spark of intelligence, the natural intuition that the child was born with, you know, coming out. And then as we age, and you know, we this lie, that lie, this layer of deception upon this layer of deception, and we actually, in a sense, get dumber as we age and stupider as we age. You know, so it's all about just letting go in a sense and just getting real. You
Mind you,
know,
when you've got this great big thing coming towards you, which is called got duality all over it, and they're saying this, and then we're going to our phones. That's it's just that people are controlled and don't realise it.
yeah. So when we're still thinking within duality, that all this information becomes a weapon against us. You know, there's a reason that we have phones. All of us have this technology in our hands and all this information at our fingertips because it's intentionally creating. It's like if I give somebody light, bright light, it blinds your eyes. You just can't see for a second. You get whited out, you know, from a bright light. And and that's what's happening here. You know, there's so much information, but how many are actually taking the time just to self-reflect and really take a look at themselves and the way they've been thinking about things? Because if we don't look at our own thinking, how do we fix it? And how can we fix anything else outside of us if we don't start with ourselves? You know?
We are in
So
a society like that that's made sure that then the public are not responsible for themselves almost. That's how we've been sort of bred. When
but
really
it's
you are responsible for yourself. There's only you that's responsible for you. And then we're allowing all these televisions and all these things to, you know,
correct.
so I mean they're getting control just through a television on you.
Oh yeah. That's got to be drastic television. And imagine just growing up watching the news and stuff and nobody telling you that that was a joke. Or like, you know, and like then just kind of buying into it all, just thinking it's all real. This is what the majority of people are still at. But I do think, you know, it's possible that there's more people.
Yeah, because basically everything's a
Yeah,
lie. By the way, everybody, everything is a lie. It's the other way around. It's the opposite of what you've been
a
told.
lot of
That's
things.
the duality on that one.
Oh yeah, it never ends. Duality. It,
No, yeah. And someone else, Robert, he said they don't know that they don't know.
exactly. Um, Shout by Tears for Fears. Uh, Tears for Fears is a popular group. They had a
Yeah,
few
I used to like them.
hit songs and albums, and yeah, I like them a lot. I listen to a lot of older stuff. You know, I'm 34, and I listen to a lot of stuff that's, you know, kind of retro, 70s, 80s.
Yeah, yeah. My
So,
kids are the same age as you.
oh, so
Well, that's all right. It's the way it is. But I'm just saying, like, you're my like. I'm talking to. I said I went to see my son yesterday, and I said I'm having a hangout with this person, and I was trying to say, I said, the same age as you. In fact, my eldest son is older than you.
is he?
Yeah.
Um, well, you know, I remember growing up and everybody listening to whatever was on the radio. So I was lucky enough to have my dad show me Led Zeppelin and this and that. So that our parents influence us so much, we don't really realize that. But
Yeah, we've got thousands of hours of parental tapes going around our heads.
oh yeah, and then it's everything from like, well, my dad loved Dodges, so I'm gonna buy a Dodge car, a Dodge truck, whatever. And not because of any logical reason, it's the comfortability of life, and that's what attaching to the Matrix is all about. The comfortability of it, the connection to it. They want you to get connected to that, to where now we're at this point to where they want us to choose, and then they want to bring you back into duality. They're splitting. That's like splitting you, like refining you, splitting the atom. Like, can you stand the heat in this kitchen? If not, we have a door to the left for you and a door to the right. you know, and that's it.
Yeah, and
It's
which
like
and
they
which
want
one are you going to take?
X.
The one, the left doors from us and the right doors from us. But which one are you going to take?
They got both of them. Yeah. So that's where we are. So
People like you and people like me don't. Well, we're not interested in that. You've got, and like explaining it. If you want to explain, you've got to go in. You've usually got to learn the subject you're talking about, so you can talk about it differently.
it's just boring for me to act like any of those choices are okay, or that it's going to be okay for us in the long run as people. So it's just boring for me to pretend like to give my energy to some of those subjects to where people are just basically trying to sucker you into their version of reality, to their version of things, whether they know it or not, feeding their ego, feeding their master who taught them that idea, who taught them that initiation, you know, and then they all work together behind the scenes, helping each other out. Oh, he's one of ours. Look at him. He's one of us. And that's how the thing becomes almost like said.
Have you seen on Unscrambled? Some of them have got numbers on them or are showing numbers.
Of what, the order you put it up, or
Well, Nancy Poleski, she's got numbers on her neck.
oh, okay. No, I got.
And
Oh,
yeah, they've got numbers and things. 37, 32, 47, 40. You can see them. Yeah, you can see them. She's
interesting.
always showing numbers.
Yeah,
That's crazy, isn't it, though?
yeah, it is.
I think that's them being, what's the word? That's just her giving it, I don't know, maybe it's the AI or something. I just don't know. Because I was thinking, well, that's the numbers are the signals, are what, and the symbols and stuff like that. And but it doesn't happen on everyone, but it does happen on her.
And what does it do exactly? Again, I gotta
Well,
check
as
out.
she's talking, it's on Unscrambled. It just these numbers come up on her throat.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
What else do you as a obviously as an American? What do you reckon with all the impeachment?
Say it again about the impeachment. What do I think about it?
What do you what's your take on all that?
You know what?
Bearing in mind it's not real in the first place, but just let's start that one off. Carry on.
I
Sorry.
I just I don't know what to think anymore that other than it's a combination of people just following this script on autopilot. Like a lot of these people believe this stuff, but the nature of the human mind is like, I got the knowledge on this guy. You know what I mean? So like it's like even within a company, right? You can't know as much as the boss, no matter how good of a worker you are. All right, you don't want to know as much as the boss because then you become a threat to that boss. You know what I mean? You don't want to outstep your bounds at a company, for example. Well,
Yeah, but it didn't work on some of us, though, did it? It didn't work
well,
on you, and it didn't work on me.
no, there's some kind of element here to where, yeah, it's just an interesting factor to where some people are not as affected, but it's then there's what we do with it really is the work that we put in and the luck of the draw as well. as much as that makes sense. If you believe in luck, coincidence is an incidence that coincides with something else, right? So
Yeah. It's a
it's
bit strange though,
it's
isn't it?
bound to
When
happen. It's bound to
I was
happen in that point in time, like when two people meet. So they're really saying the same thing when somebody says luck, or there's so many ways to describe something, and sometimes we're talking about the same thing and arguing about it,
do
and it's just
you are you looking for signs and signals like numbers and letters, or you're just seeing it for what it is?
um, there's some of that going on. I'm not overly interested in that as much as some people are. I see people talking about like, let's say, like 1111 showing up, or 44 showing up, or certain numbers, or um, I will pay attention to dates, but not overly, put great importance on that, and have an influence on like my thoughts. You know, it's kind of like scan it. That is what it is. Whatever aspect I'm looking at, under the microscope, and then just take it for what it is. Just isolate that bit of information for what it is, so that it can, connect the dot later on, maybe down the line, but not having it pull me and force me into a decision. And you know what I mean? So, so it's good for us to research these different things. Um,
Even even that bit though, researching is a good thing, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's good to get out there and explore.
You only know where you're only here. If you get here, it's because you've woken up or realized, things aren't right at all.
Exactly, and it is a beautiful thing to be able to see these things. You know,
You
really.
talked about a film. It's oh, I can't remember the name of the film now. Rushbid has it on his as an icon of his. Um, They Live or something. It's called They
Yes,
Live.
I have spoke on that. That's a very. Have you seen that movie? That's
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, yeah, he died in it, and yeah,
so. Yeah, he dies at the end in that
yeah.
movie, Rowdy Piper, and then Rowdy Piper's dead now too. Years later, he's done other films, but that's like the big one that he's famous for. And a lot of these conspiracy people talk about it, and they say they little piece on it. And Russian Vid's icon. But yeah, that movie there is. I think they really put a lot of truth into these movies, but it's just not. It's not exactly the way that it's in the movie, of course. And that there's an aspect to the science fiction that there's truth into it, but they're giving it to you in a science fiction format.
Have you heard of Jacob's Ladder?
Yes, it's like with the correlating to the spine and the
Yeah.
33 the vertebrae. Yeah, and
So, what was your take on that film then? Just asking you.
oh, the movie? No, you know what? I didn't see the movie. No,
Oh,
no, no. I
okay.
thought you were just saying in general, like Jacob's Ladder.
It's called Jacob's Ladder, the film, and
No, I never got.
basically, it was probably made in the 1970s, so he probably weren't even born or thought about then. And it's got basically you're joining him, and there's two things going on. He's got two lives, and it depends. And I think one's when he falls asleep, one's when he doesn't. And basically, what's happened is that these soldiers they had a different drug on them. The drug was so that they could become better, stronger, whatever soldiers. They didn't. They just turned around and shot each other and fought with each other. And he got shot in the crossfire, and then you're with him. But there's always a devil following him and stuff. And anyway, basically, I think it's because he's dying, and this is where your mind goes in and out of all these other situations. It just backwards and forwards, and then of course he tries to catch. I think he tries to catch the devil, but he doesn't get him. But the devil gets him in a way. That's death, I think. But it's actually the soldiers were, like, so you're with him in the last few minutes of his life, but it's like an hour, 2 hours, and yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mm. So that's another one. There's the Truman, whatever it is, Truman Family, isn't it? Or Truman Show. Can't remember which one. I think people know what I'm talking about. There's that one. And then the other one is Total Recall. Arnold Schwarzenegger. That one, it's just like that, but Earth is Mars. So I wonder what nice thing that they've almost done to us that they didn't. Because that one's about no oxygen. Say again?
That movie They Live,
Yeah,
for example.
yeah.
So I think they put a lot of truth in these movies. Um, but like the They Live, and they're supposed to be like aliens with the glasses on, they're with the scary faces and that.
Hmm.
But those are actually like, if you think of it like one way to look at that is that those are actual people, just like you and me. What I'm saying. But in the movie, they're putting a science fiction twist on it and showing you that they're monsters with the glasses on, but people are the real monsters. So in all of these movies, they put these little twists on them, but they do reveal some truth. And just like anything, it's just the way you look at it. You get too caught up in this in the way they're trying to direct you and with the symbolism and everything. This point in time was inevitable, and they're throwing a lot of information at us, and it's just a matter of what we do with it because you know it's a carnival ride right now. At this point, you
Yeah,
can't help but laugh at it. You can't help but laugh at some of the stuff that goes on.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. In fact, I'm running out of think like I've said, tried to use different words without using certain words because you know what they are. And then I'm running out of words myself
Yeah, I don't blame you.
to know how to explain this back to people. I mean, the
Right.
one this is disgusting is one of them, and
Yeah,
things like that. They're just running out of words to say, to be honest.
totally. I know what you mean.
But it's good that someone like you doesn't run out of words.
Uh, I find myself running out of words quite a bit. You're not.
You go
Well,
for 20 minutes in a go.
yeah, yeah. How do you feel about uh people that you come across on the street that you might not know that well? Just or or people like let's say what they call a business, a workplace. Like, how do you interact with people like that? Like, or what they call like people still plugged into the matrix. Like, how do you interact with people like that? You know, it's like what are some subjects off the table or what? What do you?
Patricia reckons that a lot of people are awake, but they don't want to say, and so they're in the quietness. They're in the
Right, right,
quietness, but they do.
right.
They know things are wrong, but they're just not verbally saying it.
And I know that before we got cut off, before when it disconnected me, we were talking about kind of this system and how it works with like who's pulling the strings and how does it what's what, how does it all stay in line and stay in check. Well, it's like this, you have this information over somebody, and then the human wants to use that information. The human mind wants to use that information to manipulate the person. Now, because at first it's, well, I'm going to give this information away to everybody. But then when you realize that others will take that information and use that to harm people, it's almost like, well, I'm just going to do all the dirt. So the human mind, with all this, with all the knowledge, when it begins to gain knowledge, or let's say like status in society on the world stage, because you were talking about Trump and the impeachment, but I'd rather just talk about stuff like this, just how it works in general. It's like when you get to that level, it does really play into your ego and the knowledge that you have,
I
and
don't think
thinking to
people even
yourself that
understand that because even I just information.
just think for
You need
themselves
an
that
ego even to get out of bed. So it's not about not using your ego, but it's just how you
no,
use it.
yeah, exactly. It's when we say losing your ego. It doesn't mean just bowing down and just getting abused and that whatever the gurus are saying losing the ego is, you know. But it's just losing that false self of trying to prove yourself to the world and having to put up wear a mask all the time type of thing. That's what I meant by it. But as far as on these world stage players, you know, they're looking at it like, hey, somebody else was going to do this anyways. You know, this was going to happen anyways. And so that there's an element of that that's going on. So these things just happen behind the scenes. This person knows this much. These other people know this much, and it's on a need to know basis, you know. But they do feel special about being in their particular cliques, their particular clubs. You know, I'm doing a video now on Facebook. I'm going to be doing soon called "What Kind of Jew Are You?" You know, and everybody wants to be a Jew or you know, or hate the Jews. One of the two, right? All in their
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, the duality
They
again.
want to be special, the chosen one, chosen ones, you know. And it's just about knowing yourself.
But how does that happen though? I mean, that because being Jewish, they don't believe Jesus has been yet.
Oh, so their Messiah, they would be waiting for somebody who would be reigning on earth, and he would just be somebody from the Israeli bloodline, you know, and it wouldn't be like somebody from heaven, like God impregnates Mary and then he gets crucified. It would be somebody who
No.
actually, when he's alive, there would be peace on earth. So what the Jew is saying is that Christ never fulfilled anything he was supposed to do, and he never reigned in peace on earth, and never did what he was supposed to do and sit on the throne or anything he was going to do. So they're saying that there was no way that was anybody, and plus, it never prophesied that somebody would come like that. So that's what their point of view on that is, that it's not about a man or a king. It's about following God, and that He's just going to send them whenever He sends them.
Yeah,
So
it depends
everybody,
who thinks they're God, in the first place.
yeah, right, because that's the thing. They're telling you who God is. They hand you these scriptures, and then, oh yeah, look at them play, look at them have fun with it. No, no, no. I'm not saying there's not secret things locked
Because you know what,
into these
I
scriptures.
thought of something myself. There was these words. It was the NASA video, and basically they're saying things, and NASA are going, "We're going to keep our promise. 2019, we're keeping our promise. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." And I was just thinking, yeah, maybe they're not lying. They're keeping. They. Oh my goodness, my brain, it doesn't want to work. It really doesn't. It, basically, you know what I'm saying, don't you? I don't even know if I can.
All these NASA, you know, how long have they been basically not done much, right? In
Yeah.
terms of the space station is really all we see all the time. What China went up there, and then they something about planting potatoes and flowers, right?
Mm.
But other than and didn't they do the dark side of the moon supposedly? But it
Yeah.
wasn't NASA. But it wasn't NASA though. It was somebody else, Japan or Russia or something, that photographed the dark side. So yeah, so we're not seeing a lot of stuff that, you know, magic. We're not seeing space exploration past the moon from
No, you're
1969.
seeing them fight with their bags. That's what they do. They come out and then they go, bag, 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 go away. And that's it. You're just watching them argue with a flipping bag.
These people have on all these little space missions for NASA, they
Maybe
have
that's it. They've obviously realised that the humans obviously, oh, look, there's the bag. It obviously means more. They obviously done their studies on it to be able to keep doing this to us. So obviously when they're fiddling around with their bag, we think they're doing something, but they're doing nothing. And people are looking and, oh, look, wait, wait, wait. And all they're doing is arguing with their bag.
right, right. I mean, that's it. It's that's it. I mean, you got it. Pretty much it.
Yeah,
But
it's hard to explain this back to people, though, isn't it?
it is because it's like it's all there. Like they know it. Just it's like you said, hard to get them to see that because
Mm.
because it truly is everything and nothing at everything and nothing at the same time. It's not the
Yeah, it
duality.
depends. It depends what
It,
you take from it, doesn't it? I mean, you're
right.
going to see something
It's not.
deeper
It's
than,
not the duality of it. It's everything that the duality is not. So it's
Oh,
not all the beliefs and the things that the matrix is trying to draw us in. It's not having the belief that's truly going to draw us together and to be able to stand on something, to stand in the truth. Because anything else is just going to be another idea they set up, another psyop, another false revolution. You know, that Hong Kong protest over there and all these protests, they could care less about that. And the stuff that happened in France, they could care less about any of that. The yellow vest, until people really see that it's beyond that that consciousness, state of consciousness, like it's beyond that. It really is. And these people have that information and they use that to manipulate
mm.
others. They really do. It's all like, what do you think? Like telekinesis? How about what's it called? ESP?
I think it's even worse than that because I just think with the television that basically they're telling us where the countries are, is the leaders. I know we should know those anyway, really. But then like it's just all,
It's just all just a script playing
yes,
itself
they're
out.
all actors.
It's all actors acting. You
Well, I'm
know,
glad that you said that and don't and see that as well, that they're just actors, or in fact they're just superimposed in, so they're just a voice. Make sure every country there's 25 of his voice, make sure they've got a copy of it. And
just
then
an
they,
actor of an
yeah,
actor of an actor, artificial.
yeah. But again, I've realised that again, duality again. They'll get you in, there's the program, there's the deep fake. Oh, and then they tell you something else. They
Yes.
want to get you there to tell you the extra bit.
Yeah, exactly. Lure you in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or it's like you don't even know, like, oh, it's this deep fake. Because that's what it was for me. Oh, that's deep fake. So I watched it. And then I'm not sure if it was a couple of videos I had together, to be honest. I wasn't sure. Can't remember now. And then it says about, and then it goes back to the studio and it's saying, we're going to WAR.
Right. And what is that? The war?
Yeah.
The, yeah.
That's really what they've got the people there for. The deep fake was just, well, that'll get them listening in, and then just don't forget to slice it in there. It's ridiculous. It
Well,
really is ridiculous.
George Orwell, and then another big one is what's the other guy? Huxley. And they try to say that there's a real big difference between the 84 version of the future and the Huxley version of the future. So the Huxley version of the future is they're all doped up on, this pharmaceutical or technological age of just lulling the population into this unemotional state of like compliance where they'll give them like virtual reality. It will give you your pleasures, but it'll be you'll just be a little zombie basically. And the 1984 one is more like supposed to be more um, the police state by force and traditional mind control propaganda on screens in everybody's home. They're called these telescreens. But really, when you take a closer look, they're more alike uh,
Mm,
than they're saying, because it's just if it's not, if you're not doped up, whether your drug be entertainment or narcotics or whatever your vice or your drug is in life, if you're not doped up and lulled in that way, then it is a tyranny to you. That it does become a tyranny to you. So what it is basically the duality of it is basically you could look at 1984 and Huxley as one being the mirror image of the other, but it's the same dystopia. It's the same, they're trying to give you a picture of tyranny. And then also they say that Orwell and Huxley are agents. They were just agents and they purposely put the books out there, and see, because there's no end to this thing where they try to say everybody's an agent and everything was fake and nobody died. JFK never died, and Hitler never died, and there's no end to the goofiness of the stuff, and some of it's true. Yeah, I'm not saying it isn't, but to get caught up in some of these conspiracies to where there's really no end to it as far as your own personal progress and spiritual journey, then you should come a time where you're like, okay, I'm gonna move on to something else. You know,
Mm.
I'm just gonna time for some
You didn't see my
self-reflection.
one oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm so not very well inside. Hillary Trump. I'm sorry, Hillary Trump. That's about right, isn't it? Hillary Clinton is
Two
deep
sides of the
faked.
same coin.
She's deep
Yeah.
faked into Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. I've been photoshopping faces on funny doing funny photos shops on Facebook. So that's funny to me. But that's the new deep fake, huh? With Pelosi and
Well, it's
Trump and
not the
Hillary.
new one, but because she's been
Oh, yeah.
super impressed in there and whatever it is for as long as they've done it. I don't know how they're doing it because say that person looks to the left, you see one person, turns to the right, you see another, but there's one in the middle.
Wow. Wow.
That's what I see. I'm not saying it happens on every hangout, but when they look to the left, they're one person, look to the right, they're another, and then you've got the one. That's three people.
Wild. It's like who knows? They're putting things in this technology dormant that we don't know, and then they have capabilities beyond what the average bear knows about. Even like within our phones, let's say, perhaps that other capabilities beyond, like, shoot something out of the screen, give somebody a headache in their eye or something, or like you're saying here with altering of the actual image on the screen. It could be a lot of things that we don't know because the technology is being suppressed. It's not this real big amazing peak of technology that people say. You know, look at the look at World War II, the stuff that came out at that time with
Well, I
no
think that they were burning a lot of the buildings down.
no computers. At what time period? World War II?
I think World War Two. You know that they're blowing up all these air. Well, the pictures they show, they just look like old houses. I think that was it. They were just, well, we'll have a war and then we can get rid of the houses, okay? Yeah, it's like that, really. But we don't realise that. And by the time we know about it, it could have been 5 days before.
Changing the maps and getting rid of the rest who don't play, didn't play ball, or everybody could have already been playing ball at World War II. And part of this game is you sacrifice your own men. You sacrifice your own people just to make it all the more real. And it's just part of it. Well, they had to die for the cause. And then you kill off this country. But World War II to me, I think of like remapping the world. They remapped it and they changed the boundaries and they gained allegiance to the Federal Reserve around the world. So that's what I think of when I think about World War II. Oops. So it's like, okay, so before they went in, um, you're going to get unlimited access to the money supply. You're going to get you guys will have this, and then we'll do the deal. It's like they show Stalin, FDR, and Churchill doing the Freemason arm lock, all sitting together after the war. So these things are planned events. Did these wars happen? Did people die? Was it what horrible thing? Horrifying? Yeah, it was. But the wars didn't happen for the reasons that they say they did, and they weren't. You know what I mean? None of it's real. And the creation of the state of Israel and all that. It's just wild. It
Yeah,
really is.
none of it's real.
It's just wild. It's all
Yeah,
scripted.
it's all
They're writing
disgusting,
it.
really. Yeah, I
History.
just want to say disgusting because, yeah, that's what I've taught myself to say.
But you know what? I'm scrambling around for my charger right now. I don't know if you hear me walking back, and I can't find it. My phone's on like
That's
1%.
okay. Do you want to end the hangout then before you drop off?
Yeah, I guess we can. I mean, this has been great. I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about a lot,
Yeah.
and I'd love to do it again sometime.
Cool.
It's been really, really
I,
good. You've had some awesome questions, and
I think
and
that you'd like as well if you met the other lot as well.
I'm sorry, I could barely hear you. I don't know what happened to the
Sorry.
sound now.
I said you know to meet the other ones as well, the other
Oh
awake.
yeah, yeah. I look forward to that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
look forward to it. Yep.
Okay, well, for this hangout, I'm going to end it. Thank you so much, Michael,
Thank you,
for all
Karen.
your time. That went really quickly, didn't it? That's just bizarre.
Yeah, it did. It was a good one though, and thank you again for all your work
Oh,
that
thank you
you've
for all
done with that.
yours.
And that video was amazing that you put out there.
You like that
I
music.
appreciate you doing that.
Good. I'm
Yep.
glad you did. And
And for everybody, if they want to check out the Michael Seidel Facebook, it's Michael, just like Michael, Michael, and then Seidel, S
I'll put
E I D
a
L.
copy of your channel in
Yeah,
the
maybe something like
description.
that. It's got like a
Yeah.
Superman profile or something like right now, I think, with my face on it.
How come you
So,
haven't got any subs then? Just asking.
what on that page?
Yeah.
It's a long story. It's like I was telling you, I've had trouble with Facebook, with them shutting down channels. You know, you say too much on a live, you upset somebody, and I'm just really trying to keep up with the new algorithm rhythms and stuff before I jump out there with a lot of friends that I don't know, stuff like that. Because not that it
They won't
matters.
like you. They wouldn't like you on YouTube either.
Yeah, it's not that I'm paranoid. It's not that they don't have to be your friend to watch you or anything. It's just that keeping a smaller, lower profile at this point. But like I said, I've had good times and with Facebook. I've had accounts with 5,000 friends, and then I've had where they've been up for 2 hours and shut down.
Really?
So, but
Oh.
I've managed to keep one or two profiles up over, and it's become my thing now. Um, every day I'm doing something on it, whether it just be a meme. But yeah, thanks again for the hangout,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
popping my.
Anyway, we'll end this. Don't leave. We'll say goodbye when I finish recording. But for the recording, Michael, mwah, chat room, mwah, thank you everybody. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, and thank you everybody.